We are making the trouser of this shirt today. If you haven't seen the video of the making of this shirt and you'd like to see it, I'm going to leave the link in the description box so that you can check it out later. Welcome for my returning subscribers as always, and if you're new here, you are also welcome. My name is Igwe Chidema, and in today's tutorial we're going to be making this trouser with a feather at the hem. Okay, if this is what you would like to see, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Let's start. Here I have folded my fabric into two and I've marked a line across to serve as my starting line. So placing my tape on that point, I'm going to go down to the full length of this trouser, which is 45 inches, but I made it 46. 1 inch will be for the folding at the hem. Okay, so after marking that, still at that point, I'm going to come down by 9 inches, which will serve as the hip line. But I made a very big mistake here, guys. Oh my god, just watch the video to the end to see how I rectified it. If you notice here, I just marked hip line and then new length. After the hip line, what I marked next was the new length, which was 23 inches. I didn't mark the crouch line, guys. I didn't mark the crouch line, and so I just cut it out like that. Anyway, let's continue. You'll see how I was able to rectify that. So if you make that kind of mistake, you'll be able to, adjust it and not bother about the whole thing. So what I just took there was the hip measurement divided by 2. Divided by 4, sorry, hip divided by 4. So I marked it at the waistline and I also marked it at the hip line. So on this hip line, I'm going to come out by 2.5 inches. You can do this way, or rather you divide your thigh by 2, then place it at the hip line or the crouch line. But in this case, I didn't mark my crouch line. So you will divide your thigh by 2, place it at the crouch line, and then mark it whatever you have. It will give you your crouch curve. But here I came out by 2.5, and then at that center, that middle point, I came out by 1.5. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to check the center of this line that I marked, and then I'm going to mark it like that. That is going to guide me to get my curve, and I just did the curve right now. After I was done with that, the next thing was to check the what I have at this crouch line. I'm now taking this hip line as my crouch line. Okay, so I'm going to check what I have there. I will check it, and then what I had was 12 inches. So dividing 12 inches by 2 will give me 6, and then I'm going to mark that 6 all the way around. That is, I'll mark it at that crouch, mark it at the knee, and then also at the hem, and I'm going to connect it just like this. And after that, now I'm going to take my knee measurement divided by 2. So when I divide it by 2, whatever it gave me, I'm going to divide it on both sides. Mine was 8.5 when I divided it by 2. So divide that 8.5 into 2 again. That is like you're dividing your knee into 4 right now, right? So after I divided that 8 into 2, just by folding my tape like this, I marked it on both sides. I marked half of 8.5 on one side, marked it again on the other side. Okay, hope you understand. I divided my knee by 2, which gave me 8.5. Now I divided that 8.5 by folding my tape into 2. I marked it half of 8.5 on both sides, and I'm going to mark the same thing at the hem part, just like this. After that, I'm just going to connect a straight line just like this to meet that hip line. And then on this waistline, I'm going to take my waist divided by 4, and I'm going to add 2 inches for allowance there. And after marking it, I'm just going to use my ruler just like this to connect it to meet that hip line. Then using my curved rule, I'm just going to make this knee part very curvy, not to be pointed. Now I have cut that out and I've placed it on the fabric I'm going to use to cut my back panel. So place your front panel with the in such a way that you're going to have 1.5 inch at the top. That is exactly how I placed mine. But because of this fabric, the color, you're not seeing it very well. But I have gone up by 1.5 inch. I marked it there. Then at the crouch, I came out by 2 inches and then 2 inches all the way to the hem part. I came out by 2 inches as well at this knee line. I came out by 2 inches at the hem part. So I'm just going to connect it straight out like this with my ruler. So after connecting it, that's 1.5 inch I went up by at the waistline. I have curved it like I slanted it to meet the hip of the front part. And then at the crouch center, I'm going to come in by 1.5 inch, just like I did in the front when I was cutting it. And I'm just going to curve it now to meet the 1.5 inch I went up by at the waistline, just like this. The back is going to have a zip. I'm going to put a zipper at the back. So placing my tape at that 1.5 inch I went up by from the waistline, I'm going to mark 9 inches. Like I'm going to come down 9 inches from that waist down. I came down by 9 inches. I just marked it there. Then from there, I'm going to add 2 inches all the way around and I'm going to connect it just like this to meet that point. Like connect all those 2 inches line I marked just like this. And I'm going to blend it to meet the crouch of that back side. Okay, I hope you can see what I'm doing very well. So after connecting it, I'm just going to cut it out. So this is what we have for the back and the front panel. Then after that, this pieces I have here is going to be for my pocket. The length is 13 inches while the width is 8 inches. So this is what we are going to use for our trouser pocket. Just like you see me marking here, it's not going to be just this squared abi rectangle shape when we attach it to our trouser. We are going to curve it like this to give us that pocket curve, but for now we're just going to leave it like this. Okay, for my trouser I've already joined the crouch of the front and then the back I have joined the other side, and then for the zipper allowance area I pinned it. I held it with my pin just like this. Look at what I have there. I just stitched the down part. You can see what it's looking like, and then I used my pin to hold that zipper allowance area. Now this is the side where my pocket is going to be. The two sides I just left their space there. So this is the front of the trouser. Remember the back side is having zip, so this is the front. So I'm going to place one of the pockets like this, just like this. Now after placing it like that, I'm going to go in by 2.5 inches. This is what I mean, 2.5 inches. You can do 2 inches or so depending on how deep you want yours to be. And then I came down by 7 inches where I slanted the 2 inches to. Okay, so I sewed that line that I marked, and then this is what I have after the stitching. And then I've gone ahead to fold the side of the trouser. This is what I mean. So I mean the pocket, the side of the pocket, I sew it, and this is what it is looking like. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to hold it like this, and I'm going to stitch this point. Then after the stitching, this is what it is looking like. Okay, see the pocket now. I'm going to then join the back side, the back of the trouser. You can see now it's time for me to join. Look at the side that has the zipper. Okay, the zipper allowance. So I'm going to now hold it together to stitch the front part. Okay, just like this. I hope you get what I'm trying to explain. Now I'm back to the correction of the mistake that I made earlier during the cutting, which was not placing my crouch, I'm going to use the waistband to rectify it. Now this is our trouser. I have gone ahead to sew the both sides as well as attach our zipper. Okay, so for the waistband, remember I came down by only 9 inches, which was the hip line. Now the actual crouch of this trouser was supposed to be 13 inches. Now I had to cut 4 inches to make up for that crouch depth, right? So 9 plus 4 will give us 13 inches. So instead of cutting 4 inch on the dots or 8 inches, because when I cut, I'm going to fold it, right, to give me 4 inches. So I had to cut 9 inches instead of 8 inches, because 8 divided by 2 will give us 4. Because when you cut that 8, you're going to fold it into 2, okay? But I made it 9 so that 1 inch will be for the allowance, the stitching allowance. So I made it 9 so that when I fold it, I'll have 4 inch and I'll have 1 inch for my sewing allowance. Now for this side that has gather on the side, I folded the trouser into 2. Then from one side I came in by 6 inches. From the other side I came in by 6 inches. I marked the two sides, okay, and then I measured it. You can see the line I had there, this line. When I measured it, I had 10 inches. So I'm supposed to cut an elastic that is going to pass through this point. So my elastic was 7 inches. I used 7 inches for my elastic, which I passed inside, because I wanted to make it 6 inches, but I made it 7 because of course I'm going to stitch on the side, so it's like allowance for stitching. So when I passed in the elastic, I had to run another stitch at the center to give me 3 lines. I first of all run a stitch on both sides, those lines that I showed you on the two sides, to give me my casing where I'm going to pass my elastic. So after passing the elastic inside, I had to run another stitch on the side. This point I'm showing you was where I had to open, because I attached my band first. So when I wanted to pass the elastic, I had to open one side and then pass my elastic and I close it up again. Okay, so this is it, guys. Everything. I hope you understand and you find this video useful. If you did, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe. See you in our next one.